There's two, main ways, but there's lots of other ways underneath this that we see. The first is really personalization of messages and experiences. It takes, really well organized and clean data to do a good job understanding who someone is when they're engaging with you. Not just who they are, but what their behaviors are. Have they been shopping for certain types of services? Have they been downloading your content? Are they, an infrequent visitor to you or with your organization? And using that information, you can personalize the experience based on what someone with that sort of persona might need. And so that personalization really helps you do a better job of meeting your members or your clients where they're at. The second thing that we're seeing is using data to understand and fix customer journeys dissatisfiers. And so, what I mean by this is, the life cycle of a customer will essentially have a journey. It'll go from becoming aware to, onboarding to consuming and potentially repurchasing or renewing memberships. And so, a lot of what you hear about is companies that track net promoter scores. Companies that are doing really well with this are looking beneath the net promoter score, and they're finding segments within the net promoter score that are either very high or very low. And then they're trying to associate that different net promoter score with experience that they had in the journey. So they might find that, maybe there's individuals that tried to engage with them via email and got referred to a call that then resulted in a fax and a letter. And that experience is terrible. And that's a pocket where they had really poor net promoter scores. And so they're addressing those things and improving the overall net promoter score, but also increasing how they're retaining customers because they're not dissatisfying them with experiences like that. On the second, it's really around reducing, their marketing spend or getting more out of the same marketing spend and reducing their operational costs. So we see folks that are using data to optimize marketing spend. They're running all sorts of tests of different creatives. They're optimizing how and where they're spending money on things like Google Ads. We did a bit of work for a client who wanted to optimize their Google AdWords spend, and we're able to find that the profitability of their campaigns increased, throughout the month until about the 25th, and then it started to fall off a cliff. But that wasn't true in every geography. So we helped them target, and they optimized their marketing spend. It was about a 20% improvement in what they were spending relative to the leads that they're able to generate. You also see in areas where folks are using data to reduce costs, and costs can take a number of different forms. Organizations that have exposure to, credit or finance are using data to help reduce losses, right? Can they reduce fraud? Can they reduce claims? Can they reduce credit losses? All sorts of organizations are looking at their data to figure out what their suppliers cost and create a apples to apples basis across suppliers and try to figure out those that provide them the best value. A big one in a lot of organizations is improving first contact success. So if I can solve your need the first time we talk about it, one, you're happier, and two, it costs less, right? And so understanding where you are able to do that and where you're not able to do that through your data really helps you kind of hone in on what is and isn't working. And tracking and measuring that allows you to recognize the folks that are doing it well. The third is really around retaining customers and growing revenue. It's always less expensive to retain a customer than it is to go out and get a new one. And so every company that I've been at, or every company that we've worked with, being able to predict attrition and be able to take action to reduce that attrition is almost always an opportunity. And so organizations are able to look at, customer behavior, all sorts of different types of customer segmentation, and experiences that they had, like we talked about with, say the customer journey, and predict which ones are most likely to either leave the organization, not renew a purchase, not renew a membership, and take preventative action. And in many cases, this is a pretty significant lift to the bottom line because those actions often aren't too expensive and they have a pretty significant impact on folks staying with your organization. A slightly different angle that we're seeing is folks using data to enhance their product or their service value and be able to increase their prices. I'll kind of give credit to the MIT CISR program for this. It's what they call data wrapping. And so essentially what it means is you have your core business, But through that core business and engagement with the customer, you provide additional information that they're not really able to get anywhere else. And it creates a unique value proposition for them. A great example of this is like the Fitbit, right? Everybody who, is gotten on that trend and has bought the Fitbit watch is probably not buying it because it's the best looking watch on the market or it has the, most accurate timekeeping. They're buying it because they want to see all that data. And so that data provides value to the customer, and it keeps them. And so it's an example of the way you can use data to wrap your product or your service to add more value to what you're providing your members or your organization. And then the fourth category that we see is using data to improve employee efficiency and satisfaction. So we all have cases where, we've seen employees that are doing, low value, boring, repetitive tasks. You can use data to help automate what they're doing and allow them to spend their time on things that require their creativity and their intelligence to add value. It creates more satisfaction for them and it creates more value for your organization. And in a similar vein, you can also increase their ability to be autonomous by providing them self-service access to the data that they need to be able to do their job. So if they need to access information about your members, about your marketing program or something else, giving them that access means that they're no longer having to go ask for permission, ask for approval, ask the IT team to run something for them. And so again, this is a way to help them be more autonomous and bring more of themselves into the job, be able to use their intelligence and creativity and really feel like they're creating value. And so these are just a few of the things that, we see. I thought I'd take a few minutes here and maybe try to talk about how those might apply in a sense of an association. And this first set is really applying some of these trends to member engagement. So the first one that we see a lot of is personalization, right? Can you use your data to segment your members? And when I say this, can you go beyond just knowing the demographics of your members?